International Energy Agency says coal use will reach an all-time high this year, and it's predicting that consumption will remain at similar levels over the next few years.
High gas prices caused by the war in Ukraine has seen countries scrambling for alternative fuel, but that alternative is cheap carbon emission-causing coal. I've been talking to Kingsmill Bond, an energy strategist at the Rocky Mountain Institute. I asked him whether coal is really making a comeback.
Don't worry, the energy transition is still completely on track. It's not a renaissance. It's a 1% increase in demand. It's pretty much what was expected this time last year. Nothing is new. All that's happened is that you've had a little bit of coal, gas to coal switching.
In the UK, I think we've had something like 3 or 4 days of very cold nights, no wind whatsoever, no input virtually from the wind industry. Companies like Germany will tell you they still believe they can eliminate coal as a power source by the year 2030, just 8 years away. Is that realistic?
So the most exciting development this year has been the extraordinary amount of attention and focus placed upon building out renewables and increasing efficiency. That's the real story. And so you've had a 30% increase in the expected amount of renewables deployment, according to the IEA. You've had a massive increase in efficiency gains. You've had this huge amount of legislative change from the IRA in the US to Repower EU in Europe to the Chinese 14th five-year plan. Everything has now been galvanized to change the same way as we saw in the 1970s. So this kind of noise about short-term problems with coal, it is an issue, but actually the real story is elsewhere.
It's interesting, you know, people like you calling this a short-term fix, because when you look at the politicians commenting on this, for example, Czech Republic recently suggesting coal will now stay longer, to use their words, than the country's 2033 phase-out. And in Germany, one of the utility companies announcing it's postponing decommissioning of coal-fired power stations there. Doesn't feel like short-term.
Look, this is just, these are insurance policies. Coal is only 15% of electricity generation in Europe, going, down to zero. If it's 0 or 1, doesn't really make that much difference. The really exciting point is that in the Repower EU, Europe is planning to double the amount of renewable electricity coming into the system. Europe's planning to solve the various permitting issues to drive more rapid change. That's the story here.
How concerned should we be, though, about this, you won't call it a renaissance, but this resurgence of coal? I mean, is the Paris climate agreement essentially dead?
So we should, of course, be concerned about any attempts to increase coal demand. But Paris is most certainly not dead. You have the shocks and the problems that we have faced this year, as in the 1970s, have galvanized very rapid change. So increase in efficiency, increase in renewables deployment, massive surge in electrification. So EV sales up, for example, this year by 50%. They're crossing the point of no return in all of the major markets. And now finally, hydrogen finally gets onto its extraordinary growth curve with a 7-fold increase in expected hydrogen deployment over the course of this year. So Paris is most certainly on track. We shouldn't be complacent. We have to fight every step of the way to get this stuff done. But no, it's not been derailed. This has not derailed Paris, that's for sure.